The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by BSP, our bank, our.
Good evening, this is TV1 News. I'm Maricela Kelaton. Rex Litter will join us later on in the bulletin for sports. Along the Magi Highway and into Rigo Inland, almost 37 kilometers away, work on the Ring Road project continues. Lack of funding resulted in the project being incomplete. The project is funded by the central provincial government under the Works program and began in 2022. The provincial government allocated funding towards completing the road project this year. The Ring Road is expected to serve 20 council wards of North Rigo LLG, giving them better access to basic services. The contract was awarded to Rigo local contractor Koya Investment Company owner Biari Ubuna, stated that Prime Minister, when invited to Boragaina in Rigo district last year, made an additional commitment of 27 million kina towards the project. He is unsure if funding has been released. The contractors are appealing to Rigo MP and the central governor to consider the Connect PNG program. City Manager Ravu Frank is preparing for more development to 9 Mile area. The National Capital District Commission will be seeking the assistance of the national government.
The focus for the National Capital District Commission is to develop the road at the 9 Mile area, which is the backbone for the 9 Mile development plan. City Manager Ravu Frank stated this during the launch of the 9 Mile to PAU Ring Road on Monday morning.
We have a plan for a new link to connect PAU with Bautama, that's on my right, and just after 9 Mile Plaza, this road will be linked to Se Ruben Taureka Highway. You may have noticed that we are now clearing the road reserve to prepare for construction of a 4-lane road. We will be seeking the support of our good Prime Minister for these two roads. From the end of this road, there will be another link to the back of the airport through Faria and ATS. Work will start soon.
From the end of this road, there will be another link to the back of the airport through Faria and ATS. Work will start soon. The cost of the 9 Mile to PAU road is 117 million kina and covers the design and construction of 7.5 kilometers long 4-lane roads, cemetery access roads as well, cemetery fence, car park, footpaths on both sides, fence to Maranville Secondary School, drainage works and 24-cell culverts at Kinakon, street lights and landscaping.
This road was really something that amplified the fact that Papua New Guineans can rise up to the occasion when talents are issued. We work on these roads. We want to develop our city proper and make it a properly planned urban resident for all who come in, for school, for services, or for employment in our city, whilst preserving the rights of our indigenous owners of our city, including those at the central province. I give you commitment, Governor Pakop, as you work and your proposal has come in and we give support, especially the ring road to ring fencing the present border of our city, in also partnering with central provincial government.
Jasmine Iru, TV1 News.
The world standard 4-lane road from 9 Mile to the Pacific Adventist University was officially opened on Monday, June 19. In collaboration with the national government, the National Capital District Commission and Mobile Works Limited, the construction was officially completed.
It has been 3 years since the launch of the 9 Mile to the Pacific Adventist University 4-lane road and was officially launched on Monday evening.
The commitment of the Prime Minister also extended to the other part of this road that we have completed in record time. That is 9 Mile to Laloki. It is also a great achievement for the national government and for our municipal government. The 9 mile to PAU 4-lane road is a testament to the collaborative efforts between the national government, the National Capital District Commission, and our contractor, Mobile Works.
Governor Pakop said the commitment of partners signifies shared vision of creating a well-planned, well-connected and prosperous city that meets not just expectations of residents, but for the regional and international community, investors, tourists, business people, sporting and visitors, stating that the development of our city goes beyond physical development.
The road is not just a symbol of progress within our city, but it also contributes to national outcome.
Pakop added that the project also champions the Connect PNG program. Mobile Works Limited project manager Lindsay Habitain shared that Mobile Works is proud to be nationally owned and proudly employs Papua New Guineans from the management team to the workers.
Contract had 24 months duration, but we've been faced with a lot of challenges, issues and challenges during the design and construction phase. We had to design, our design team had to design to suit actual site conditions. We had to design to suit existing structures, existing services, water, sewer, power, telecommunication, land, road and drainage easement acquisition. But those challenges never kept us down.
Jasmine Iru, TVWAN News.
The Southern Highlands Provincial Government have allocated 4 million kina to China Hydro Company, who have been contracted to build the Mendi Airport. Governor William Powie recently made the check presentation in Port Moresby.
Mendi Airport in Southern Islands Province will soon be completed to allow for flights into the province. The airport was closed since the arson attack on an New Guinea Dash-8 aircraft in Mendi Airport in 2018 as a result of election-related violence. Governor William Powie said the provincial administration is rebuilding the province and Mendi Airport redevelopment is one of their main focus areas.
Part of this restoration program, 4 million for the completion of the Mendi Airport. That's the first one that has been paid. 3 million for the Mendi Courthouse completion. The money has been paid to the contractor. 5 million for Mendi Muruk Road's completion. That is work in progress and I think it's almost complete. We've also paid 10 million to Oceanic to continue the Mendi Town Road upgrades. The ceiling work that has been ongoing. I'm asking the contractor to show cost as part of the provincial government's counterpart fund of 10 million that has now gone for the Mendi Town Road ceiling. And we've released 20 million for Mendi Manda, the actual land, 70 hectares land for the new hospital. I'm doing what I can. I need the people to establish cooperation and, get the support and, appreciate life can proceed instead of having differences.
China Hydro Company project manager Ari said almost 80% of the work have been completed and looking forward to finishing off the remaining works this year or early next year.
We will complete the project, under the support from provincial government, NAC and other related parties as soon as possible.
Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
The National Volunteer Service of Papua New Guinea have launched a 3-week program at the Goldie River Training Depot in the Central Province, attracting their largest number of volunteers in years. The National Volunteer Service of Papua New Guinea's 3-week program on pre-service orientation and training attracted NVS's largest number of volunteers from the Central Province and the Greater Southern Region. The workshop facilitated speakers from key government agencies to speak about the work they do, a vital component of the workshop as this information will enhance the work of the volunteers in the communities, districts and provinces they serve in.
This is where volunteers from the districts, they come in under the NVS program, and we take them through a 3-year orientation on topics like what is a volunteer, what is required of the volunteer, what are the principles involved in being a good volunteer, and then we also invite other government departments to come and talk about what they also do.
NVS Executive Director Molly Willie says NVS is anticipating a memorandum of agreement that will soon be signed between NVS and the Central Province Government.
We actually have a lot of volunteers from here, Central Province. We are pleased that the Governor is planning on meeting with us to sign an MOA, so we can also be able to assist her volunteers in doing service delivery in entire Central Province.
Meantime, Willie is pleased that a volunteer guide written by NVS with input from other volunteers is being used in sessions of the workshop. Furthermore, the National Volunteer Service is growing with the challenge that the country is faced with increased unemployment rates.
Really pleased that NVS is now growing with the challenge that Papua New Guinea is facing. We don't have all the answers to the problems, but we know that we can do our part, especially in service delivery, because that's really our mandate. Service delivery in rural parts of Papua New Guinea.
TVWAN News continues after the break. Stay with us.
There's a sense of pride when you're able to do something right, a financial decision that has just really good benefits. With BSP Life Insurance, there's that alleviation of that worry when you pass away. The benefits of the BSP Life Insurance would meet those expenses on behalf of my family. If you're young and you have kids, you owe it to your children to make sure they're not left behind when you pass on.
With you for life.
Enjoying life when we work together, making happy memories that last forever. Hot in talk, young or old, a scale race, family meal with home. We'll bring out the smiles cause it's our favorite romance. Tennessee cola, scale rice on scale price. Tennessee cola, scale rice on scale price. Amber, you like it?
All Mama Flame is story all Sam.
Me say you sing flame flower long one year. Me say me Kim Kai Kai belong family belong me. You go more yet.
Man belong me say like him flower balls belong me. What them kawa warna bring ania. All pikinini belong me say like him to mas pineapple donut me say him lo house. Me make kumu mix him on them cow na karama pim long flower.
Tasty hash browns.
Time is Kelly one time wala pela Kai Kai. Me say kisi more Kai Kai long all get a toya me tromoy one time flame flower.
You enough making more one time flame flower.
From the rich soils of the highlands, the finest coffee has been grown by generations of Papua New Guineans, expertly blended and roasted with over 80 years of experience, making the finest cup of Nescafe New Guinea blend, PNG's own coffee.
The Toyota JD Hi-Ace bus comes in 14 and 15-seater high-roof luxury model powered by 2.8 liters JD engine for optimal performance output, fuel efficiency and quietness, designed with improved safety features and easy maneuverability for tire steering angle. The Hi-Ace lift suspension and annular frame structure is opted for smooth ride, comfort and safety. Experience the ride on the Hi-Ace bus and experience the Hi-Ace pride, the bus that exceeds all expectation.
What a pass from Sam Barrels.
be back here is pretty special, and I can't wait to go.
And then the strike in this New South Wales team, it's frightening.
This is the best place in Australia to play rugby league. Here they come. Intercepted by Mitchell. Here comes Tommy again. And Queensland might be going into it again. And the Maroons have reclaimed the front.
Welcome back. The National Research Institute has released discussion paper number 203 titled Independent Power Producers and Deregulation in an Island-Based Small Electricity System, the Case of Papua New Guinea, authored by Associate Professor Rabindra Nepal and Research Fellow Ronald Sofe. The publication reviews the prospect of electricity sector reform and the development of independent power producers. The Papua New Guinea electricity sector operates a single buyer model with the objective of attracting new investments in power generation from the private sector through independent power producers or IPPs to alleviate ongoing electricity shortages. However, the inability to fulfill commitments and the rigidity of the contractual arrangements in the power purchase agreement under the current model is concerning. Discussion paper number 203 notes that PNG power sector is in transition of growth in terms of power size. Policymakers should consider improving the planning of sector regulation and the structure of the industry. The paper discusses vast electricity shortages in PNG, implied that the country should focus more on developing a framework for adequate supply of power to meet demand without imposing supply constraints. The need for adequate supply is greater in Papua New Guinea's power system. This is because the market is not interconnected and hydroelectricity generation is prone to seasonal fluctuations. To this end, it is important for PNG Power Limited to remain solvent and improve bill connections while minimizing the financial losses. The report recommends that strong political will and the strengthening of institutional arrangements are the urgent reform measures that are needed in the PNG power sector to attract private sector investments in power generation. The establishment of district WASH committees is part of the national WASH policy. It is a priority of the government of the day to drive WASH projects and programs. Rabaul District in East New Britain has established its WASH committee. It comprises of the 4 LLG managers and sector heads. It was established after a training was conducted in March this year in Kokopo. It was attended by environmental health officers. A number of meetings were conducted in recent weeks, including a submission to the district management team to endorse funding allocation of 600,000 kina to the committee to roll out its WASH activities. A WASH technical team under the committee has also been set up to look at improving water supply projects in the wards, including schools and health facilities within Rabaul District. 15 lead farmers have been selected by the Market for Village Farmers project in its Call 1 Batch 2 program implemented by the Fresh Produce Development Agency. The farmers include 6 each from Eastern Highlands and Simbu, while 3 from Western Highlands Province.
Almost 80% of the country's population live in rural areas and depend on farming for survival. However, Fresh Produce Development Agency, through the Market for Village Farmers or Market Belong Village Farmer, aims to improve the livelihoods of farming households by facilitating their transition to market-oriented production and farming as a business. It will support the development of sustainable business partnerships in which farmers will be secure and remunerative market options and buyers will obtain a reliable and consistent supply of vegetables and other fresh produce. Recently, FPDA signed the partnership agreement with 15 lead farmers in Western Islands, Simbu and Eastern Islands provinces.
Going forward now, 18 months from now on, we'll have to work together and change this project around and tell a different story to our government and IFAD, so that we build on from there. That's the story that we want to build now. What is known as water under the bridge now. We want to build a new chapter now in this project, move forward, and give hope to our people.
MVF project manager Joe Koima also encouraged the farmers to deliver as expected in order to be included in the next batch of assistance.
These farmers coming out will also be benefiting from the biosecurity training, which will be conducted by certified trainers from SEPI, which ensure that the farming business is not only a business, only a farming activity where we do only subsistence farming, but eventually we graduate into commercial farming.
The assistance from the government will continue if farmers deliver, and that is to improving the livelihoods of village farming households in the target provinces.
So to be successful, we can go for cold trade, but that depends on successful now. So we from the government.
6 provinces have been selected to implement the MVF project, including Eastern Islands, Western Islands, East New Britain, Jivaka, Morobe, and Simbu. Around 25,000 farming households, approximately 125,000 people, will directly benefit from the project's work. Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
Meantime, CEO for Fresh Produce Development Agency has clarified a media statement in regards to funding allocated to citrus farming development in the country. He said the funding is still with FPDA and never used as speculated in the media.
We don't have a record of misusing such funds. We have a clean track record in managing PIP and development funds properly. So I would like to brush aside that criticism. And if there's any issue, can come to the office and we can clarify. And they mentioned that the funding was made available by IFAD. In fact, it's not. It's not the IFAD funding. It's coming from the National Planning and Monitoring, the PIP funding that we got, 1 million. And it's not FPDA funds.
A lead farmer in Daulo, Eastern Highlands Province, has ventured into tree planting as well apart from Balbonian farming. Jerry Aviro from Daulo Commodities Cooperative Society Limited said the human activities in the forest had so far had a great effect where many trees were cut down and burnt due to human activities. This has prompted him to go into tree planting. Aviro aims to promote and support other community income generating activities to reduce pressure on independence to forest directly. His goal is to make Eastern Highlands a forest corridor in the country by 2030. He also recently signed an agreement with Fresh Produce Development Agency to implement the Market for Village Farmers project.
Nipla work planning or plant or different species or native trees lo bustu nipla work lo neserim so nipla distribute him as far as lo okapa nipla distribute him go as far as lo okapa Goroka district Daulo especially lo Ungai Bena district around 25% lo all kata saplings bloom and work lo igo lo Ungai Bena all Bena and all work lo by planted through so Mipla Hamamas through we want to make Eastern Highlands to be a forest corridor by 2030. This is the long-term plan that we have for the district, for the province.
And now the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at $0.2810 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.2735 US, $0.3939 Australian dollars, €0.2427 euro, and $0.3843 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, palm oil, crude oil, and copper closed higher. The rest closed the day lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, the ASX is trading higher, and all ordinaries is trading higher as well. Regional news is next. Stay with us.
It was during and after COVID that really motivated me to want to take up life insurance. I think savings is very important, and I think One Talk Delight provides a disciplined approach to savings, and it's a good investment to want to think about the future, because it's always nice to have plans for what you want to do later on.
With you for life. He loves the Maroons. He loves the Blues. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SB Lager, Bunyamyumi.
Right across the nation, we eat snacks crackers. Emi trubla. All get a young plan alapun, only like him snacks crackers. Only make him here, no PNG, one time laying biscuit company. It's crunchy and tasty. It's irresistible.
A true champion is measured by their courage, their determination, and their passion to never give up and to always keep trying. With a delicious Milo in milk taste and added nutrients, Milo in milk is a great way to fuel our little champions with nourishing energy every day. Because true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG and Mia. Find PNG made.
Such a great crowd and wonderful atmosphere here. And the Maroons score the first try of Origin. Change of angle provided here by Surges, who surges over. Here's Tasman Gray. She'll go close. Tasman pumps the fist, celebrates the try. Outside, Chapman goes in. The Blues strike back. And there's a Sazolka from Robinson. Sazolka and Robinson combine again.
There's nothing more intense than this thing. I've been in racing my entire life since I was 3 or 4 years old. Anytime you get in one of these things, your life is in danger.
There's no room for error. I mean, this is life or death. I'm determined.
We travel across the country with this beast, and people just go nuts.
Welcome back. In regional news, 7 executives representing all the customary regions of West Papua have declared their support for the United Liberation Movement for West Papua gaining full membership of the Melanesian Spearhead Group. The executives are of the ULMWP provisional government in the Indonesian-ruled Melanesian region. The ULMWP declared this political support in a statement in advance of the forthcoming MSG summit in Port Vila, Vanuatu. ULMWP President Benny Wenda had separately announced his support for MSG full membership, saying, "Our agenda is now totally focused on consolidating support for full membership." One of the indigenous groups pushing for a no vote is the Black Sovereignty Movement. They have a high-profile and vocal champion in Independent Senator Lydia Thorpe, who vowed to push their cause in Parliament when defecting from the Greens.
The voice, you know, is not supported. These polls are not reflective of the voices on the ground. And the reasons you don't know that is because our voices are constantly silenced. And this is what happens right across the country. We've had enough. We need adequate resources given to Aboriginal people on the ground to manage our own affairs, because nothing is going to change unless we change it ourselves.
It's meaningless. Because you know why? It's the voice of no choice.
The voice is saying, the land, want to give it back. It's not telling the truth. There's got to be proper consultation right across the board with all nations, with all law people. You can't just deal with a hand-picked group of people and say they're a representative body before the United Nations and before the world.
At the end of the day, we are who we are. We cannot negotiate on sovereignty because our law prevents us from doing that. We come from ancient people.
We were born into this movement, Jen Munro, all of us, back in '72, the 10 Embassy. So these are families that have lived this their entire lives, that were born into this.
We just got to do something better. It's time for a real talk, you know. It's time for a proper agreement. It's time for reparations. I'm living on somebody else's country. We're refugees in our own country. It's got to stop. There's got to be a better deal. No more beads and blankets.
The Legalized Cannabis Party says it's optimistic about reform as it introduces the same bill to decriminalize the drug in 3 states today.
Well, the party is hoping to really push across a national agenda by introducing this legislation, as you mentioned, across 3 states. Now, they're hoping to decriminalise personal use cannabis. They're also hoping that this legislation will overhaul what they have described as outdated laws. And they also say that they hope it'll help push and divert people away from the judicial system. Now, it does follow what the party has described as a hugely successful trial in medicinal marijuana. So today, for the first time, those joint draft laws will be presented across 3 jurisdictions, including Western Australia, Victoria, as well as New South Wales. So under this bill, it would allow an adult in a household in those jurisdictions to possess and grow up to 6 cannabis plants for personal use. It also states that a plant can be gifted to someone but not sold. The party says that's still very much off the table. It says that it will also allow for a carer to grow the crop on behalf of someone else. So these are some major reforms that they're hoping to introduce, but today it's essentially the first part in a 3-part approach that the party is hoping to really reform and nationalise their discourse on legalising cannabis for personal use. And they say it'll give enough time for the market to regulate, as well as getting the community on board. We have heard from the New South Wales member for the Legalised Cannabis Party, Jeremy Buckingham. He says that eventually it's something that will be inevitable with these reforms, and he says that eventually it'll allow for a market regulation to sort of eliminate the black market in general as well. But currently in Australia, the ACT is the only jurisdiction that has decriminalised personal use of cannabis. Now, these were laws that were introduced back in 2020, and it allows for people to essentially, an adult, to grow up to 2 cannabis plants for personal use. And the Legalised Cannabis Party says that this is very much the same model that's been introduced in the ACT that's going to be introduced across those 3 states today. But Gemma, it is really important to note that this is simply an introduction of the bill to the upper house. It's not expected to be debated until much later in the year.
And back home, the Active City Development Program is celebrating International Day of Yoga through a 5-day Yoga and Wellness Fest to improve health and wellness. The program under the National Capital District Commission will run from June 17 to 21st and will have a hub of activities, classes, promotions, talks and performances. It will unite individuals, organizations, and promote holistic well-being. The highlight was the mass yoga session on Sunday 18th at Ella Beach. It showcased the positive impact of yoga on individuals. This festival aligns with NCDC's mission of creating a safe, healthy, clean, and planned city that is livable for all residents, promoting health, well-being, and inner harmony through the practice of yoga. And now the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. And that ends the news segment. Stay tuned for Sports with Rex after the break.
It's in the highs and in the lows. It's in the big things and the small things too. It's hard to put into words, but you'll know it when you see it. Terrain Tamer, when quality counts.
Change your TV plan to a postpaid plan and save more than 100 kina. Get a 30-day 40-channel plan for only 85 kina and get a free DTV plan to watch rugby league,
blink and you miss it,
or Filipino dramas from anywhere you want. Good idea. How awesome is that?
what a moment.
Dial 1515 to speak to a TV agent and get yourself a postpaid TV plan today. Digicel TV. More channels, more choice, more value.
Check out Breaking Weapons Freestyle, each week only on Fight Sports.
Leopards, bison, cheetahs, and more.
Ideally, all of these animals roaming freely would paint a beautiful picture. However, human progress won't allow that. The next best thing is to give them value.
Join Dan Cabela as he sets out on an international journey of discovery within the world of conservation.
There is no one-size-fits-all solution, and science is the best hope to find answers for their survival.
Hard Truths of Conservation, streaming now on Outdoor.
Welcome to MotoGP. To be a highly dramatic 18-lap Malaysian Grand Prix Moto2, starting with...
So that's a very decent middle sector for the Alpine. They only have... Oh!
They have crashed! They've gone into each other! What a start for Will Davison. Di Pasquale has been swamped.
Some of the biggest and most talented egos in sailing.
The two-time defending champions make it 2 in a row.
I didn't want to think like something was wrong with me. I didn't want the doctors to know that I was a sick person or like that. I really regret it.
When I was a medical student and young doctor, we used to isolate the TB patients on Gemo Island here in Port Moresby. So that was good, but bad.
TB is the leading cause of admission in our hospital. Let's say 10, 11 admissions, 6, 7, 8 is more related to TB.
The main reason we can control TB is we get people on effective treatment and they take it for the full duration of their therapy, not just until they feel better.
Power A-grade men's softball team have been declared the minor premiers of the 2023 Port Moresby men's softball competition, while Moni Plus Gazelle are minor premiers in the men's B-grade division. After 9 rounds of the competition, Power finished on top with 15 points from 7 wins, 1 loss and 1 draw, followed by Defence on second place with 14 points, Brothers in third are on 12 points, Bears in fourth place are on 12 points, and trailing is Gazelle on 5th with 12 points. These top 5 teams in each division will proceed to the next 4 weeks of the semi-final series, starting this weekend with 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th playoff, while minor premiers in first place will have a bye. The much anticipated Commanders Cup tournament was launched on Friday, June 16th at Igam Barracks in Lae, and officially kicks off with a team duty of care on July 12th. Present at the launching was unit commanding officers representative of the team officials from participating teams for the CDF's Rugby Cup Tournament 2023, officials from CRU Port Moresby and Lae, and sponsors. The Chief of Defence Force Major General Mark Goyner officially launched the CDF's Rugby Cup 2023 with the unveiling of the shield, which will have the winning team engraved on and with their previous winners. The Commanders' Cup tournament runs from July 12th to the 20th. At the launch, teams were drawn into their pools. 10 teams will be participating in 3 pools. Pool A and Pool B have 3 teams, while Pool C fills in the remaining 4 teams. Teams in Pool A are Basilisk Marlins, 1R P1R Diggers and Goldie Warriors. Pool B teams are 1134 Crocs, FSB Tigers, HQ Chiefs. Pool C teams LRRU Troopers, 2PR1R Muruks, ATW Eagles and Tarangau Sharks. Coinciding with the Commanders' Cup is the CDF's National Remembrance Day Golf Challenge. It will be held on the 19th of July. All branches of the headquarter PNGDF and units will put up teams. The Commanders' Cup officials acknowledges the sponsors for the tournament. The sponsors for Platinum are Commercial Support Program, Mount Hagen Transit Homes, Santos PNG Limited, Biomass and Kumul Petroleum Holdings. Gold sponsors is TISA Group of Companies. The silver sponsor is Comrade Trustee Services Limited, while Moniplus, MRDC and Digishell have settled as the bronze sponsors. After round 10 of the 2023 Digishell ExxonMobil Cup, the Enga provincial government Miox remain undefeated after registering their 10th straight win against the Kimbe Cutters 16-8 in Kimbe last Saturday. Miox's clean slate of home and away matches is believed to be a new record in the club's history, who clear leaders in 20 points. Meanwhile, Lae Snakes Tigers, who lost round 8 to Enga Miox and round 10 to Manly Muruks, are still on second spot with 16 points. East New Britain Gurias and Hela Wigmen are in third and fourth place with 14 points and 13 points respectively after picking up wins in round 10. Manly Muruks stepped up to the 5th spot after defeating Tigers, pushing Dabaris down to 7th place after their loss to Gurias last weekend. In the midfield, the battle continues among Gulf Iso, Sepik Pride, Hagen Eagles and Kimbe Cutters. The competition goes into the next stage, which is the cross-pool playoff to decide the ultimate top 6 teams for the semi-final series on August 6, culminating in the grand final on 27th of August. The Petroleum Resources Kutubu has renewed its financial commitment to provincial rugby league franchise, the PRK Manly Muruks, with the recent announcement of a 1.7 million package, which includes Southern Islands provincial government component of approximately 700,000 kina.
The official announcement took place on Friday, 16 June 2023 in Port Moresby, officiated by Southern Highlands Governor William Powie, PRK franchise owner Mark Sakai, and Manly Muruks board chairman Isaac Joseph and franchise manager Eric Elam. The milestone joint sponsorship towards Foundation Rugby League Club PRK Manly Muruks has again raised the bar of franchise sponsorship at the PNG National Rugby League level, formerly the Intercity. The latest financial commitment by the Southern Highlands Provincial Government and PRK franchise of 1.7 million kina is also focused on developing local rugby league infrastructure in the province, with plans to relocate the franchise team back to Manly soon. In his opening remarks, Governor Powie commended major sponsor PRK and Muruks board for their leadership and tireless commitment and perseverance in making sure the Southern Highlands flagship remains competitive in the National Rugby League, which is a uniting force to its people despite of financial constraints.
And I want to take this time to commend the Board of Directors of Muruk, who've given the time and effort to remain steadfast in very turbulent times to bring the team that is a uniting force for our province. So I commend the chairman and the directors of the Muruk Rugby League team who are here with me at this time. And on behalf of the provincial government, we have released 1.5 million to get the Mome, not the Mome Oval, but the Manly Rugby League Oval. Jokeveme Oval infrastructure. We've paid 1.5 million to the contractor to get some work done at that field.
On behalf of PRK Franchise Board Chairman Sakai also acknowledged the Southern Highlands Provincial Government for their co-funding and partnership. Sakai also made mention of PRK's plan and commitment to get the local Tente Oval in Mendi back up to scratch so that more local talents can be given the opportunity to play for Muruks.
And next year I think I would like to see the Muruks living in Mendi and playing in Mendi and getting the Mendi Rugby League on, so that we can pull our talents from our local players in the province to come and play in Muruks. And I think we've lived outside of the province for the last 5 years, 5 or 6 years. And I think we should bring the team back to the province. And thank you for the support to get the field in place. That's the most important thing. We will support, from PRK, we've supported the infrastructure, the accommodation and so forth. So we will be looking at that as well.
Terry Longwood, TVWAN Sports.
The recent major announcement of the marked increase in the joint sponsorship by Southern Highlands Government and the Petroleum Resource Kutubu towards Provincial Rugby League franchise, PRK Mendi Muruks would always generate some interest from fans and supporters regarding accountability and transparency. Franchise Board Chairman Isaac Joseph said, "Constructive criticism is good, but sometimes people go overboard without understanding and appreciating the enormous cost involved to run a franchise." He explained,
To run a franchise, you need mega millions to run that, because while you look at accommodation and salary payment, we do all these things day in, day out, week in, week out. You need a lot of money to do that. So a lot of time people stand out there without coming into the camp to criticize, saying that, oh, this amount of money is being spent there. Where did the money go? This is a community obligation. Like me and people like Eric Ma, we come on board because it's a community obligation for us to come on board to support a team. But I want to thank Governor and PRK for always coming on board to support this team. You don't know how much we pay the boys. You don't know how much we look after the boys. Even the cab we manage, the rental we pay. There's a lot of money we spend, because when you look at the word franchise means this is not a local competition. It's a franchise team, a private team that is run.
It was another outstanding day for Hans Brown Stadium yesterday for PNG athletes. The day ended well with some compelling semi-final finishes. Samantha Mayasa put an entertaining show, and so was Mata Awong at the badminton competition. However, their male counterpart Emmanuel struggled in his 4 games. Samantha Mayasa finished second in the semi-final of 200 meters with a time of 33.05 seconds qualifying for the semi-finals. She beat her previous record of 34.15 seconds for 200 meters. In badminton competition overnight, Mata Awong lost a second game by forfeit to Gea Jania of Estonia by 21 points to 0. Despite being forfeited in the second game, Mata made a strong case in her third outing. She started her third game and went well on to defeat Jiaqin Lui of China 21 points to 16. And in her fourth game, she maintained her winning form to defeat Bryony Johnston of Great Britain 21 points to 18. So far, Mata has won 2 games and lost 2 games. While Samantha and Mata enjoyed some success on the pits, it was not the same for their male counterpart Emmanuel Severa. Emmanuel went down badly to Park Hugh Tam of Hong Kong, 0 to 21 points in his second game. In his third game yesterday, he also went down in a strong show against Japan. As embarrassing as it was for him losing 2 games in a row, Emmanuel wanted to get a win on his fourth one, but again fell short to Yehi Sehu of Chinese Taipei 5 points to 21. Emmanuel lost 3 games and won only 1. Both athletes, Samantha and Mata, will be notified tomorrow whether or not they will proceed in the single matches. They also begin their doubles competition tomorrow. The officials thank everyone for their support to the athletes participating in the games. The State of Origin Game 2 is set for tomorrow night at the Lang Park, Brisbane, the stadium known as the Graveyard. Taking down the Maroons at any venue is never easy, but doing it at Lang Park, where the light shines out for them, can feel impossible. New South Wales will head to Lang Park as friendless outsiders with the captain and coaches under fire, ready to fight for their life to save the series. As the match-win game is less than 48 hours away, rugby league fans in PNG are already taking their sides. Here is what fans say.
Tomorrow I'm game for Blues by win.
Me Blues sabotage. Me at them me like him and Blues must win.
I support Queensland Maroons, and I think they're gonna win because they are the reigning champions.
Me Blues sabotage, so me think Blues will win because I lose the first game. So
I think Maroons will win.
Me support the Maroons, so team the Maroons, so me trust the Maroons. They know about it.
Me support the Blues, but me looking line up like I know Maroons will win or something like big margin or kind of.
That's all in sports. Over to you, Mary.
Thank you, Rex. That's all the news we have for you tonight. Pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
The TVWAN News was proudly brought to you by BSP, our bank, our people.